Hello everyone, my name is Jenine Bozer. I am a Reiki master and owner of Intuition Awakening here in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. It's so great that you're here today, spending this time caring for yourself, learning about your healing, learning about your body, your emotions, and how we as practitioners and a community of healers can help. So my talk today is going to be about Reiki and trauma. That is my specialty. This is my passion. How can I help others heal from their traumas and from their mental health diagnoses? How can I help you achieve your best life? This is a very personal story for me. This is a very personal path for me. I was diagnosed at the age of 13 with ulcerative colitis. Very suddenly, one summer I just didn't really want to eat a lot of food, and that disease nearly killed me. I had 3 very life-changing surgeries. They were life-saving at the time. I had a near-death experience on my 14th birthday in the hospital. And after that, it just seemed like doctors were very baffled by my symptoms. They were baffled when I was in hospital. They were baffled when I got out. We didn't really know what to do. And that was really frustrating for my family. No one ever asked me about my mental health after going through such a traumatic event. And I think that's a huge piece that's missing in our healthcare system. No one ever sits down and asks, how were you emotionally impacted by this event? How do you think your spirituality and your faith was impacted by this event? These are big questions. So I treat women who are a lot like me, that we've received mental health diagnoses like depression, anxiety, bipolar. I myself have depression, anxiety, and CPTSD, which is complex or cumulative post-traumatic stress disorder. I help women who are also baffled by symptoms. The doctor maybe can't find the right medication for you for your mental health diagnosis. I've been there. Medications only work for 2 in 3 people. They don't work for everybody 100% of the time. If your therapist is maybe struggling to find the root, you can work with cognitive behavioral therapy all you want, or DBT or other forms. They're amazing, but sometimes we're just not quite getting to that thing. We can't seem to move forward. We become stuck in life. We just can't get ourselves out. And we start to question, is this as good as it gets? Is this my life? And the answer is no. This does not have to be your reality. You are not broken. That is one of my biggest values and missions, is to get that message out there. You are not broken. And today we're going to talk a little bit about why the body is doing things right, how Reiki can help, what impacts trauma has on the body, and how understanding Reiki and your chakra system can really bring about a shift of perspective in your mind and in your body and in your spirit. But before I go any further, I wanted to mention I am giving away a $40 Reiki session. That's over half off of a usual hour-long session with me. All you have to do is comment below. You're entered for a chance to win. So I'd love for you to comment one takeaway from this video today. What's one thing that you learned that you're so excited to share with other people? You're so excited to practice yourself? Comment below for a chance to win that Reiki session with me. If you want to schedule a Reiki session or get to know more about my services, you can visit my website, www.intuitionawakening by Jenine. That's JENINE.com. And right on my homepage, I've got my services listed. You can book online. And for anybody out there who is suffering from trauma, who is suffering with PTSD, this is my specialty. This is where I come in. This is where I act as your coach. And I have a 3-month healing program that's called Ignite. I want you to reignite your life. I want you to find those sparks and those passions again and feel alive. Let's move from surviving to thriving. Let's move your body from panicked and calm and uncertain to living in wellness and health and thriving in life. I want you to be successful. I want you to feel love. I want you to feel wealth and abundance of all things in life. I want you to notice the beauty around you. But when we're stuck in survival mode, that doesn't happen. So feel free to book a consultation call with me to go into my 3-month deep dive. I will be teaching you about each of your chakras individually. We will be clearing each of your chakras, intergenerational trauma, your own trauma, every aspect we can think of, because as I'm going to talk about shortly, there are so many different layers in each of our chakras. So feel free to check out things online. Follow me on social media. I have free weekly group healings. If you've never tried Reiki before, you kind of want to get a taste of what it's going to feel like. Those are Tuesdays from 11 to 12:15. That's Central Standard Time. That's Regina time. So feel free to figure out what time that is wherever you are from in the world. Welcome. Comment below where you're from. I'd love to see how international this audience is on this healathon. So thanks for joining. Let's dive into it. What the heck is trauma? What the heck happens in our body? And how is it beneficial for us to heal these responses? So the first thing I want us to understand is the word trauma. Trauma happens or becomes stuck in our body. We get diagnosed with PTSD when we witness a disturbing or distressing event. We experience one of these events. Even listening to it secondhand can give us trauma. And trauma is a lasting emotional impact, a lasting emotional response that happens for longer than 1 month, that starts to impact our life. We become more irritable. We can't handle stress the same we used to. We really lose this ability to almost cope with life. Our body seems to be continually hypervigilant. We may have trouble relating to others. We may feel very different and isolated from others, especially after we experience that really distressing event. And for a lot of us right now, COVID-19 is a collective form of trauma. We are all stuck in a distressing or disturbing event. And if you are having an emotional response that's lasted longer than 1 month, your body doesn't seem to be finding its normal again. You can't get back to your regular activities. Even if you have access to them, you still feel stuck. You're really having trouble relating to your family or your friends again. You're finding yourself isolated. These are all really big things happening to all of us. Some people, it might not impact them as much. Their body seems to have a really good switch off. They've determined in their body that, you know what, we're safe. We can get out of this fight or flight response. And that does not happen consciously. So I really want you to give yourself that grace, that trauma doesn't happen to us because we can't get over something. It doesn't happen to us because we couldn't see the doctor or the counselor enough. We just didn't get it right and somehow it's our fault. Trauma is our body's way of responding to very abnormal events. It's normal. It's a normal reaction to very abnormal events. Trauma is not your fault, and you are not broken. And I really want to hammer that point home. The body is actually doing what it's supposed to do. This is a very distressing, high-level event that might have happened to you. It doesn't just have to be that you're a police officer or a paramedic as well. Trauma is dependent on the person. It's your body that determines what was disturbing or distressing to you. This could be childhood abuse. This could be neglect as a child. This could be neglect as an adult, potentially losing your home or homelessness, having medical surgeries. Anything that shifts this perspective in our mind, our body, our spirit from, I felt safe, something happened, and now I can't feel safe again. And we determine that. Each person's trauma is very valid. And that's why we're not broken. The body is actually doing its correct job. It is turning on all of these systems in our body that say we need to be aware, we need to be safe, we need to protect ourselves, we need to be hypervigilant, to notice who's a threat. We have to evaluate our relationships. We have to take time to rest. Maybe we do need to disconnect from others because those relationships are no longer safe. The problem is we get stuck. The body gets stuck in this response. And this is where healing comes in. This is where we start to shift from fight or flight, panic and chaos, moving into reestablishing safety, reestablishing safe relationships, reestablishing health and well-being. And how does Reiki help? Reiki is a Japanese healing technique that has been around since the early 1900s. It was brought over to Western civilization in the 1980s. A woman brought it from Japan to Hawaii, and from there it's made its way to the US and Canada. And it works with the chakra system. A chakra is an energy center in our body. And there's about 7 of them that we work with normally. There, in many theories, are a lot more. But 7 is the ones that we work with. Your crown, your third eye, your throat, your heart, your solar plexus is in your abdomen, your sacral chakra is below your belly button, and your root chakra is your legs and all the way down to your feet. Each of these energy points corresponds to physical body parts. So in your throat chakra, your neck muscles, your throat, your jaw. It also corresponds to an emotional level. So again, the throat chakra would be about communication. Do you feel heard and understood? And at a spiritual level as well. So maybe the throat chakra relates to prayer and meditation, feeling connected to others, being part of a community where I can express my ideas. So when it comes to trauma healing, my belief is that we cannot just look at the physical symptoms. And we cannot just look at the emotional event that happened. We have to take the whole person into consideration, mind, body, and spirit. Resilient people show this certain level of faith and spirituality. This doesn't have to be religious. This doesn't have to be believing in God and praying. But meditation, intention settings, doing some journaling and inner reflection, these can be all forms of spirituality as well. And Reiki looks at each of the chakras as interconnected. So if there's something happening in our racing thoughts and in our mind and we can't focus, that's in the crown chakra. If we have a blockage here of energy where the energy is stuck, because Reiki is all about energy. How is it moving? Is it balanced? Is it out of balance? Is it over or underactive? If we're stuck up in our crown chakra with so much anxiety, our body does not get the nutrients and the energy flow it needs. We start to experience physical manifestations of an energetic problem up here. We might feel fatigued. We might be getting more sickness. We might be just run down and out of breath. And we might not understand why and how. Why does this relate to our anxiety? Because anxiety blocks the energy flow to the rest of the body. And as a Reiki practitioner, I come in to help. I help move these blocks. We re-energize the body. We balance the energy of all the chakras. And in so, we move the body from fight or flight into rest and digest and safety. We shift the body and the mind and the spirit. Reiki works on all levels. But the biggest thing is it's a promoter of self-healing. It's a promoter of calmness. And it reestablishes that safety in our body. It's always present, but sometimes we get so stuck in our trauma, we can no longer feel it. So that's what Reiki does. This is what I do. Thank you so much for joining me today. Like I said again, please feel free to check out my website. If this really interests you, come join one of my weekly free Reiki healings. Meet with your spirit guides, learn a bit more about the chakra systems. I also host frequent webinars and have blogs about Reiki and trauma. So if you want to know even more about this, what are the chakras, how does this work, feel free to check out my blogs. I have a few up that specifically talk about this that I think you'll enjoy. Thank you again for spending this time on yourself. And again, remember to comment below with one thing that you're going to take away from this for a chance to win a really discounted session with me. It's only $40 for a session, which is, it's over 50% off. So I'm so excited to see you. feel free to book a session online if you're like, I'm ready for this. Let's deep dive into some Reiki together. I am available. You let me know. I am here for your healing. Namaste. Thanks so much for joining me. Again, my name is Jenine with Intuition Awakening. Bye-bye.